Everyone on this panel, and you gave the only C. How come you gave a C?
She wasn't clear enough on the policies. She did speak a lot of her personal history, which was great. But I still don't feel like she's ready. I feel like more so she should wait. I don't want to, per se, vote for someone that is a backup.
All right, well, but I'm going to ask you shortly. You're obviously...
What's up, y'all? So CNN did a panel with like a couple of, not even a couple, it was a few undecided voters who essentially said like listening to VP Harris's speech helped them make up their minds. We're gonna watch this for the first time and hear the reasonings behind it. If you watched my last video, I spoke about the highlights of VP Harris's speech. Me personally, I think the speech was solid. Just watch my last video to hear what I thought about it. Essentially, I felt like she shouldn't have brought up Trump's name in general. Just keep it strictly policy and just not give him the time of day from a strategic standpoint. But I do think like overall it was solid, especially when she started speaking about her childhood and what got her to where she is, etc., etc. So go watch that. So we're going to go ahead and watch this video. Let's see what they're saying. I heard some things about this, but I haven't watched it yet, so I want to do this blind reaction. So let's go ahead and start.
Presidential nominee Kamala Harris portraying herself as an underdog candidate and a fighter. She addressed her party's convention on this closing night here in Chicago. Right now we're getting reaction to the vice president's speech from some undecided voters in the crucial battleground of Pennsylvania. Seeing as Gary Tuckman is in Allentown. So Gary, who's with you and what are they saying about the speech?
Well, Anderson, we do come to you from Allentown in the heart of the beautiful Lehigh Valley in eastern Pennsylvania. And we are with 8 residents of the Lehigh Valley who've been watching television with us tonight and watching Kamala Harris's speech. I do want to say they all have something in common. As you said, Anderson, none of these people before tonight have made a decision about who they will vote for in November. And at least one person here before tonight.
I just want to add, I just think that's so cap. Like, not cap in a sense of like you're not allowed to be undecided. Like, you're allowed to be undecided, but me personally, just the people I come across, it's either your people are strictly voting for Biden or not even Biden. Look at me. People are voting for VP Harris, people are voting for Trump, or they're not voting for president at all. So the whole undecided, I'm just so like confused on, only because they're like two completely different like people. Like, it's not like they're like, okay, they're similar to this, we can give and take. But I'm not going to say no one's allowed not to be undecided. It's just like, bro, the election is in November. Like, these people are completely different. It's like black or white. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? So it's either you vote for Trump, you vote for VP Harris, or you don't vote for president. Vote down ballot and call it a day. But let me not be too critical, because we all were at that point at some time. Like, majority of us was at that point, like, not knowing who to vote for, depending on who you ask. Anyways.
Wasn't sure she was going to vote at all because she doesn't like either of the candidates. Also, what they have in common, 5 of these people, they are all, 5 of them, loyal union members from the UAW local, United Auto Workers, here in the Lehigh Valley. So thank you all for being here. First thing I want to ask you, I want you to grade the speech, okay? A is excellent, B above average, C average, D below average. We all know what F is.
I personally would grade the speech probably like a B. I think she did really good. I think she did good.
Let's start with you. How do you grade the speech?
I gave her a B+.
Yeah, same.
B.
B+.
A.
B+.
A.
A.
C.
C. So mostly A's and B's with 1 C. I want to ask you why you made the decision you made. First of all, we start with Scott, who is the president of the UAW local here in the Lehigh Valley. Scott, what grade did you give it again?
B+.
How come?
I gave her the high grade because I thought she looked very confident.
Yeah, she did.
I liked how she spoke from her heart. I liked her message of unity and the division that we have in America. I like her fight for the middle class and families. The reason I didn't give her an A was I thought she needed to go into a little more detail on some of her plans.
Yeah.
Of how she would,
I agree. I spoke about this in my last video. Whenever she spoke about like the U.S.'s support, when it comes to Israel and et cetera, et cetera, it was pretty much like she glitzed over it. She said, okay, we're going to call for immediate ceasefire. It wasn't like an actual plan. That's how she plans to put it. So maybe that's something that she can elaborate on when she does like interviews. If she does interviews, that's like another thing that I'm like, how come you're not doing interviews? Like, we need to know what your plans are. But I agree with him. I would give her a B.
Some of the things that she envisioned.
Okay, Lindsay, you're in sales. You're the person who wasn't sure she was going to vote for anybody because you don't like either of these two candidates. I'll ask you more about that in a minute, but first, what grade did you give the speech?
I gave it a B.
How come?
I thought it was a good speech. I mean, she did what she was supposed to do. I liked that she was talked about her upbringing, made it feel a little more like personal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a good speech.
Okay, Andy, you're also with the UAW. You make cars and trucks for us Americans, so thank you for that, along with the rest of you. Your grade again was?
B+.
And how come B+?
I liked her plan for the middle class. Like, my wife's a nurse. I'm an auto worker. I'm as middle class as you can get. I just felt like she should go a little more in depth. But I guess I understand you can't really go as in depth in these speeches. But
he has
a
a
little
point
bit
there.
more would have been like nice.
Okay, Donna is your mother.
Yes.
Donna's a retired dental hygienist. Donna, what grade did you give it again?
I gave her an A.
And how come an A?
Because she hit all the points that I wanted to know about. I wanted to know more about her economic policies, her foreign policy. I know she couldn't go into depth about that, but I mean, I felt that she looked very presidential. She sounded presidential, and I think she's going to be a unifier.
Yeah, by the way, going into tonight, Andy was 60-40.
I don't know about unifier,
Kamala Harris,
but
you were 50-50, which is interesting. We'll talk more about that in a second. Patrick, also with the UAW. The grade you gave it again?
A B+.
How come B+?
Well, she was very confident in what she was saying. She showed leadership ability and understanding of the topics at hand. But again, she didn't go in depth. I did like what she said about what she's going to try to do for the middle class, about a tax break for us, which will be very nice, but still a little bit more information on some of the things that she's planning on doing.
Sean, also with the UAW. The grade you gave it again?
I gave her an A.
How come?
I was looking for policy information.
But she
I
didn't
really
really
wanted to see some substantive policy information. And I thought she did give enough.
I don't think she gave enough when it came to like the policy.
Military, what she wants to do
specifically,
for our veterans.
but then again,
and with border control, I just think that she has a lot of good ideas and she's very well spoken. I think she was very professional.
Sabrina is your daughter.
I think the main thing that's hurting VP Harris now is like the credibility aspect of it, because she's saying her plans and so forth, but it's like people are questioning the credibility and how serious to take her, mainly because she's the current VP. So I think that I truly believe that is what's like hurting her. That's why I really urge her to do interviews, do these one-on-one interviews, because it's like the more you're in our face, the more you're actually explaining yourself, and the more you're answering these questions, like that's going to help you in the long run. Like, because people, like, once it dies down, people are going to start asking these questions. Like, once the hype dies down, they're going to start asking themselves these questions, and people are not wanting to go like cast their ballot with so many unanswered questions. So I think that, in my opinion at least, like the least that she can do is do some interviews. Like, come on now.
And also a UAW member, helping to make cars and trucks for America. Your grade again?
A.
How come an A?
I think she was very well spoken. She was very clear on what her policies were and elaborated on them with the time given, and the fact that she's wants to bring back rights for women.
And Brian, you're in real estate. You're a nice guy too, like everyone in this panel, and you gave the only C. How come you gave a C?
She wasn't clear enough on the policies. She did speak a lot of her personal history, which was great, but I still don't feel like she's ready. I feel like more so she should wait. I don't want to, per se, vote for someone that is a backup.
All right, well, but I'm going to ask you shortly. You're obviously...
Okay. this is getting a little feisty, a little tea, a little 1-2-1-2. I love his honesty and his transparency. I have not. Maybe I've heard it, but I haven't heard it maybe from a political commentator, like a real not a real person, like from political commentary sector. Yes, I hear people say I don't think she's ready, but like from everyday people, this is actually my first time hearing it from an everyday person. Like, I don't think she's ready. Like, I always hear people say I don't trust her. What is she going to do? She has no policy, yada yada yada. But him saying that I don't think she's ready and she should wait, I'm interested to see his argument on that. That's tea. Clock it.
Not ready to vote for Kamala Harris,
Right.
I'm sure about that.
Right.
But what I want to ask all of you all together at this point, like I said, none of you were ready to make a commitment to any candidate in November. Please raise your hand right now if you're now ready to make a commitment after today. Wow. I'm just kind of surprised by it. We haven't rehearsed this. I'm going to make that very clear. They will attest to this. 7 of you are now ready. Scott?
Yes, I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris.
Andy?
Yeah, Kamala Harris, yes.
Donna?
Yes, I'm voting for her also.
Sean? Sean?
Yes, Kamala.
Sabrina?
Carmela.
Patrick?
Kamala.
Brian?
Trump.
Trump? And finally, Lindsay.
Still probably not voting.
So probably you don't like either of them.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel Lindsay on that one. like it's like she's not even gonna try to pretend to force herself. I love the honesty. Something that I'm confused on though, like everyone who said that gave her a B on the speech, a main thing that they brought up was the fact that she did not have enough time to elaborate on her policy or explain the policy plan that she has. So they're basing, it's just confusing to me because it's just like you're saying you're going to vote for her, but then again, in the same breath, you're saying that you don't know the elaboration on her policy or how does she plan on implementing certain policies. So it's just like, what specifically was it that made you say, okay, confidently and comfortably, I'm going to vote for her? Was it like her childhood, her background? Like, those are the questions that you have to ask yourself coming up during this upcoming election. This is why I tell people all the time, I never tell anyone who to vote for. That's something that I really, really try to stray away from. But I always tell people, you have to ask yourself these hard questions, these challenging questions, put your feelings aside and see like the facts in front of us. So shout out to Lindsay, because I like the fact that Lindsay, maybe they are all being honest, but I just like the fact that Lindsay is just very transparent and saying like, yeah, this speech was not enough to sway me. It's probably going to take more than that to sway me. But yeah, I want to hear what the man has to say who said, no, I'm voting for Trump. Like, I want to see what he says.
Nope.
Okay.
What led to you all making a decision? Was it that decisive of an evening,
Yeah.
Scott?
Yeah, I really, as I said before, I really liked her confidence. She's really seemed presidential. She seemed very confident. Like I said, she spoke from her heart. I liked how she filled you in on her background, that she struggled, her mother struggled,
All right.
middle class family.
Donna, you were 50-50
I'm gonna be
going
honest.
into the evening.
Like, this is not to take away from VP Harris's story, because one thing about me, I'm going to be 100% honest and transparent. Like, her story is amazing. The speech was solid, 100%. But like the fact that he said that it was her confidence that made him want to vote for her, or that made him decide to vote for her, or voting for her, and her background, it's just like the fact that she's been through things. Okay, that's why I say put your feelings aside, because we've all been through things. That doesn't mean we all should be running this country. And I'm not saying like whether she should or shouldn't, but I'm just saying from a substance level, like put context in and ask yourself questions. Because Donald Trump, he's been through things a lot. He lost his brother through alcohol and drugs or whatever. And like no matter how many times people try to humanize him in a sense, like he's still been through things. I actually suggest y'all to watch the interview him and Theo did. He was on Theo Von, and that interview actually made me look at him like, oh wow, like this man actually, he's been through some things in his life, like despite what we see in front of us. But it's just small things like that is what kind of like irks me. Not only do I see it on the Democratic side, I see it on the Republican side. It's just like people take like the most surface level things and be like, okay, I'm voting for them, and then get mad at the end of the day when they fail. It's just like when the bar is set so low, and then you're upset that they didn't, meet like a decency standard. It's just like that mindset is what continues the cycle in a sense. But let's continue.
What made you make a decision?
Well, I've been doing research since she was, the nominee, and I like what I'm reading. And here I've been watching the convention, and her speech was just, that just.
Well, you said you were undecided.
And Brian?
Oh, she said.
You decided on Trump. What about tonight? Because when we met last week, you were undecided. What about tonight made you decide you were going to vote for Trump?
Her speech was great. I like how she went into personal history again. It was just not moving for me.
But it made you think that Trump's a better candidate than her.
He's here for it. He's a little bit more aggressive. She's aggressive in her way, but I think she'll be aggressive in the next term.
So Trump over Harris for you, Harris over Trump for most of you. What I will tell you, 75 days now until election day.
That is
so
crazy.
Lindsay, you have a few more nights to sleep on it.
Time goes by so fast.
Thank you all for coming and joining us. We appreciate it.
75 days, y'all. 75 days. That is, I don't even want to say scary because I fear nothing and nobody but God. Amen. Okay. Amen. But 75 days is so, I just don't think we're ready. We're not ready. Like, even right now with the whole like debate situation where like I said, obviously the logistics of it is not finalized, but from what I know, they said that the September 11th one, like they're only doing one debate, and even within that debate, there's like, okay, who's going to host it, who's going to moderate, like it's just too much. So me personally, as the voice of reason, when it comes to political commentary, yes, I personally feel like they need to have 3 debates. They need to have one VP debate with Walz and JD Vance. That one is going to be really good. Like, one thing about hear me out, JD Vance, I don't care, he's not my favorite person, but one thing about JD Vance, he eats people up in the most like I don't know, like the way that he just, I don't know how to explain it. Like, he's a really good debater. And the thing is, like, Walz has so much passion. So when you have someone that's so passionate and then someone who's just so, like, monotone, but, like, he's very intelligent, it's just, like, that's going to be really interesting. Very, very interesting and entertaining, to say the least. But that's going to be good if they actually finalize that. So they need to have 3. So one with the VP, and they need to have 2 presidential debates. I think that they need to do one in Trump's favor, like do one where Trump sets the rules and regulations, whether he wants the mics turned off, whether he wants Fox News to host it, whatever the case may be, and another one in VP Harris's favor, whether she wants CNN to host it, MSNBC, whether she wants the mics turned off, whether she wants an audience, a studio audience, whatever the case may be. I think that's the only fair way to do it. And I will say, Trump doing the debate with Biden, even though it wasn't in his favor, like technically on paper, because he wanted a live studio audience. Biden's administration didn't want one. He wanted other news outlets to cover it. Biden administration only wanted selective ones. So I think that's only fair at this point to just, let's do 2 debates within the presidential candidates. Trump people, y'all plan it, y'all do what y'all need to do. VP's people, y'all plan it, y'all do what y'all need to do. And then boom, we have 2 debates, and then we have one middle ground with the VPs to debate or whatever. But time is obviously not on nobody's hands. There's 75 days left. Time is moving so fast. This is actually crazy because it's like who's in charge? Who's in charge? It's just a lot going on. But let me know your thoughts on the comments down below, y'all. What do y'all think? How do you think about this video, undecided voters? Are you an undecided voter? Are you voting for Trump? Are you voting for VP Harris? Let me know who you're voting for down below if you want people to know. Because, some people nowadays, they're just like, none of your business, which I respect it. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you're notified whenever I post a new video. Follow me on my social media. I love y'all all. God bless y'all. This is Uruguay, connecting people with policy. Toodles.